Mike?
Can we go?
Good evening.
Mike, am I ready?
I'm good.
Good evening.
Yeah, he's ready.
Ready, Freddie.
Oh, mine's been.
Sorry.
Good evening.
Evening.
Like to call this meeting to order. Roll, please.
Mr. Albrecht,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Dr. Hall, Mrs. Roop,
Here.
Mr. Teray,
Here.
Mrs. Galbraith is here, Mrs. Gasparo.
Here. Stand for the pledge, please.
Happy New Year.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Albrecht, would you read the mission statement, please?
Sure.
What did it address me?
Our mission statement, to ensure that every child is challenged to reach his or her full potential academically, socially, and emotionally as they grow and develop into thoughtful, productive, and contributing members of society.
Thank you. Tonight, I believe we have some students from Balmoral and Crete Elementaries here tonight for our Good News Report. Who's going first? Want us to come down? Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, board members, can we go into the audience, please?
Oh, I like to have you with me. I don't know how to function without you. By the way, I think I need to give you a
We can use both mics, correct?
I tried to
We
get
use-
hard up to you, but
So I can have my student down here?
sorry.
Do we all have to be up there, or can they stand down here and Okay, that's fine. However.
And then do you want those to stand down there?
All right, good evening, everybody. Oh, come on, you could do better than that. Good evening, everybody. All right, okay, very good. All right, I'm Erin Lane, and I am the principal of Crete Elementary, and I am very excited to have one of my fourth grade students with me this evening. So let's give Travis Foose and his mom, Brittany Louise, a round of applause, please. This summer, Travis and his mom were featured in the August 7th edition of the Daily Southtown for their Happy Rocks project. So I did want to share this with you tonight because this is a real feel-good share for us here at Crete Elementary with everybody in the district. So I'm going to have Travis talk a little bit about the Happy Rock project that he and his mom had undertaken. Doesn't he look cute?
Me and my mom saw a similar idea on Facebook page and decided to do it for fun, and it caught on with others. My mom decided to make her own Facebook page and invite others to paint rocks and hide them. It's about having fun and making people feel good.
Tell us how it makes people feel good, Travis.
Like, if you really want to rock really badly, you can always find one. And we just do it to make people feel happy because the world could be crazy sometimes. So we go and hide rocks and have fun. And if you, so we posted on the thing pictures that were rocks that we're hiding. And if you really want a rock, you can go and try to find it. Well, we don't hide them too hard because we want people to find them. But we don't hide it too easy because we want people to find them. So we like hide them in like silly spots. Like we used to have one in a tree and someone found it, and the one time when we went back there was another rock there.
What was the one place though that you were telling me when we met in my office that you hid quite a few? It's a place that's pretty close to here.
Oh yeah. We hid a bunch by the library because, well, a lot of rocks that we decide to make are like books or stuff that could be in books. So we decided to hide them at the library. Like a bunch of other rocks. Like there's the bell that we have, and we place one there while, yeah, or yeah. And we hid one there, maybe thinking the fire people would find it. And next time we went back, it was gone. So didn't know who found it. And also another time we hid it at the fire station was like right by their door because we wanted to have them have a happier day. Well, not really. We only really look in around the Crete area. We don't really find like a bunch of other people's rocks from around the United States or anything. We just find rocks. Sometimes they might be, but we just don't notice. Yes.
That's where you originally got the idea. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the rocks that you brought with you today, or which your favorite one is out of those that you and your mom painted? Your decision.
Show it.
You have this rock my mom made.
This one says show some more love and it's more on it. A lot of the rocks that I paint, I like to put little sayings on it, you know, don't worry, be happy, with the big smiley face or whatever. It started off as a way to be creative with my kids and a cheap way of having a little parent kid time. And with that, you know, we started the Rockin' with Happy Rocks Facebook page. We haven't found any from other places. However, my mother lives in Fish Lake, and we had some out there over the summer, and we have had a couple people post on the page that they had found ours. So it's you know, and there are rocks, you know, you're having a bad day, you walk up, you find one, and it says, you know, you're beautiful. Like, oh, thanks. So, you know, we try to keep it going, pass along the smiles.
All right, something to, my big teacher voice here. All right, something that I was real impressed with was that within 24 hours, according to the article that was in the Southtown, there were more than 500 members on the Facebook page that Travis's mom had created. And we talked a lot about just sharing artistic impression, making people feel good. People can post about them. They can keep them. They can hide them again. I know there was the one that you wrote about. It was the guitar rock that the one girl had found that was a guitar player, and she was like real excited, real connected. She kept hers, okay. And then I asked Travis, I said, what's your favorite? Travis, you said, what was your favorite rock you painted that you hid? You said it was the what kind of rock?
Jacksepticeye logo from YouTube.
All right. I didn't know who this was. Does anybody know who this is? That's in the, okay, see, the kids know who it is. I didn't know who it is, but that's the logo. So I looked it up, and it's kind of a crazy Irish guy that does a lot of like loud stuff on YouTube. So Apparently that's one of Travis's favorites. So once again, we're very proud of Travis and his mom and the work they accomplished making others feel good this summer. And we really thank him for coming and sharing a few minutes with us tonight. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions they want to ask before we turn it over to Balmoral. Okay, easy crowd. All right, thank you, Travis.
Good evening. I am Mrs. Perkins, the principal at Balmoral Elementary. To our Board of Ed, central office, our community, our scholars, families, we want to thank you and show our appreciation this evening for having Balmoral share our good news report. And so on behalf of Mrs. Van Kyken and I, we introduced two of our scholars, Zion Milton and Jana Richardson.
Good evening. My name is Zion Milton, and I am the president of Balmoral Student Council.
Good evening. My name is Jana Richardson, and I'm the secretary of Balmoral Student Council.
This school year, we have a mission to show kindness to everyone all year long. In September, we kicked off to our theme, Kindness is the New Cool. In our responsibility meetings, we looked at ways to make others feel special. In October, we celebrated Mix It Up all week and made a video showing our commitment to being kind. Our kindness project for November was a donation drive for local food pantries in Puerto Rico. In our December, our project was entitled Share the Warmth, and we donated over 100 warm weather items such as coats, gloves, and hats to South suburban family shelters. For January, this week is No Name Calling Week. Throughout our school, we will be showing we are bulldogs, not bullies. Cards for Kids is our kindness project. All scholars will be making inspirational birthday and holiday cards for the pediatrics unit at Christ Medical Center. And now, here's our secretary to tell you more.
Thank you, Zion. In February, we will have our Jump Rope for Heart American Heart Association fundraiser. Our goal is to beat last year's total of $3,000, which is equal to saving 58 lives. In March, the Balmoral family will show kindness by supporting Special Olympics when 15 of our staff members will be raising money and taking the polar plunge in the icy waters of Mantino Lake. We also will have events planned for Special Olympics. Respect is Golden Day on March 7th. We will finalize our kindness year with Glow Blue Dance, where our proceeds will be donated to Autism Speaks in April. At Balmoral, we learn to be a service to ourselves and others, and our community will be better because of it. We thank you and take a look as we show you how to spread a kindness.
I know when it starts with K. That word is kindness, hear me when I say K is for kindness, a simple word, it's true. But it's amazing what a word can do. Amazing what a word can do. When you help someone in need, that's kindness. When you plant a little seed, that's kindness. When you give a pal a hug,
that's kindness.
Gently hold a ladybug, that's kindness too. And when you try a little kindness, and help someone for real, you might be surprised to realize how good it makes you feel when you try a little
Kindness.
When you try a little kindness, yeah.
That's kindness.
When you listen and stay calm, that's kindness. show a puppy's ear, help to wipe away a tear. That's kindness too. Yes, I know that when you try a little kindness, and help someone for real, you might be surprised to realize how good it makes you feel when you try a little kindness. Oh, so try a little kindness. There's a word I know and it starts with K. That word is kindness, hear me when I say K is for kindness, a simple word, it's true. But it's amazing what a word can do. Amazing what a word can do. When you help someone in need, that's kindness. When you plant a little seed, that's kindness. When you give a pal a hug,
That's kindness.
Gently hold a ladybug.
that's kindness too. And when you try a little kindness, and help someone for real, you might be surprised to realize how good it makes you feel when you try a little kindness. When you try a little kindness, yeah.
That's kindness.
God, they edited that dance. Yeah, that was me on the right-hand side. You only saw me for a second, thank God.
Board member comments?
Who wants to say?
Go ahead, Stephanie.
Okay, I'll start at this end. Travis, we have had more fun with those rocks. You and your mom have brought lots of fun to this town. I would go for my early morning walks and run into whole families that were searching. It brought a lot of smiles to this community. It brought a lot of people talking. So thank you very much, and I hope that come spring, we're out there together again. Balmoral, bless you for editing that film. I'm very happy that that wasn't the whole dance up there. But I do encourage the entire board to go over to Balmoral and learn the dance. It's quite exquisite. You guys are doing amazing things over there. It shows in every one of your students, or excuse me, every one of your scholars. And continue to do the good work. I'm very, very proud of you all.
Well, thank you for sharing both great stories. And what I was really impressed with were our future public speakers. You all did very well, and you weren't nervous at all, and I understood everything. Can't always say that with my children. So thank you for sharing, okay?
All right. Fantastic job. A great idea. We can't overemphasize the need for some kindness to between all of us, children and adults, and all around the world. We have a very volatile world today, and I hope they learned something from your Facebook that's going around the world. It's great. And our little dancers and everybody at Balmoral, kindness is a wonderful thing. Thank you so much. And I reemphasize my colleagues' comments here. You guys are going to be on the news one day, and if the Lord lets me live that long, I'll be watching you on TV, and you'll be an anchor on a news program somewhere. You guys are great, fantastic. Thank you very much for everything.
Hi. Well, I'd like to say the same thing, basically, as everyone else, but to Travis, they say imitation is the best form of flattery, and I had not seen the rock thing until I saw you do the Crete site, and it was so much fun, and it went so well that I stole it for my organization that was celebrating 100 years, and we did a 100-year rock site, and so it just keeps going. So thank you. That was a wonderful thing. And for Balmoral, again, I thought the two young ladies did a great job up there, public speaking, and just the whole video made me smile. And I like the tagline, kindness is the new cool. I hope we could all remember that and live by that. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you again, Principal Lane and Principal Perkins and your entire staff, both of your entire staffs. Again, those young women and men, one male, did an excellent job. And when I got out of the display of these, their talents were that giving up themselves for others, sacrificing, that's paramount in order for the world to come together and be as one. So it just made me think about my real purpose on this board, to see how you young kids are blossoming, and I expect you to go further and further in life. You are people and young people that we need to show adults what's needed to come together. So thank you.
So I just got finished singing the Superman song in my head. Now I have to learn another one. Thank you, Balmoral, for that. Fantastic job. I know I keep saying the Superman.
I had Superman down pat.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you very much. And I agree. Wonderful representation by the scholars and fabulous job standing up here. I know that's not easy. So kindness is very important. Kindness is the new cool. So thank you very much. Travis, I especially like walking out of the Benton Street Bakery and finding rocks. I've seen several sites since yours popped up. So I think it's really great what you're trying to do, and you seem to have a lot of fun with it. So thank you very much, everybody, and keep up the great work. Thank you. Public comment. Terry, just these? Okay, first we have Reverend Dr. James Hunt regarding Community Forum. Welcome. One second.
Before the kids leave, Nelson Mandela said education is the most powerful weapon we have to change the world. And you guys are changing the world through your kindness and your compassion, your wisdom. And I just want to commend the students. I used to collect rocks, Travis, but I wasn't creative enough to draw pictures. And I want to commend the principals of Crete Elementary and Balmoral. You're doing a wonderful job, and the students and the parents. Bless you. Good evening, board members and staff. Want to address, I addressed a letter to President Gasparo at the end of November. Actually, I wrote it on the 21st. It was received on the 29th. I sent it certified. And the subject of the letter was asking for a community forum to look at the issues of residency, minority hiring, the consent decree, academic and discipline equity, and fiscal responsibility within the district. Now, the purpose of the letter was to ask for that special community forum so that the community and the board could open some channels of communication not to divide, but to come together and develop some strategies and solutions, and maybe serve as a model for considering those types of issues going forward. And so I had the opportunity just before this meeting to talk to President Gasparo, who assured me that there would be a special community forum. And so I wanted to put this on the record that the letter is out there. And thank you, President Gasparo. We look forward to hearing more details of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Hunt, I'm glad to see you're feeling better also.
Oh,
That flu has been horrible.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I heard that you wished me well, and thank you very much. And yes, I'm here. So
Glad to
so
see
again,
you,
I'm
Brett.
glad for the special, I want to make sure, I want to get this on the records, community forum, that we're going to have one.
Like I said, yeah, as soon as we get our 7 board members together for our board retreat, one of the things that we're going to talk about is getting a date set for a community forum. That's on my agenda.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Cynthia Hudson regarding district concerns, responses to questions addressing email at the board meetings, et cetera, and superintendent search firm selection. Is that what that says? Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, and once again, Happy New Year. My name is Cynthia Hudson, and yes, I would like to know, I've come to several board meetings as well as some of the committee of the whole meetings, and I've asked numerous questions. I talked to you, President Gasparo, and you did tell me that you would respond back to my concerns and questions. I have not received a response to any of my questions or concerns. I wanted to know, the reasoning why our superintendent was, in my opinion, was forced to resign from the district. I would like to know, I asked you all, did you all give him a plan, or did you give him some goals? Did he not meet those goals? What was the reasoning behind all of that? And now we're in a position where we don't have a superintendent. We're trying to find a superintendent, and we're pretty much wasting money to pay another superintendent to do the job that we already had a great superintendent to do. I have concerns about, it was many concerns that I have, also I asked about the, who decided to put that order for the top 10 scholars, but it's 11 since 2 of them were tied. To me, in my opinion, everywhere you go and you find pictures like that, you have the valedictorian first. You all don't have titles under the names, so you don't know what the student's rank is, what order they fall in, or anything. I'm hearing the valedictorian is a African-American young lady, but her picture is definitely not first. And you would definitely not think that she was the valedictorian. I have concerns about the monies that one of my questions was, I don't know, I heard at one of the board meetings, it was some money that the board should have been going after. We should have been entitled to some funds, and somebody dropped the ball on that. So now we're going back trying to see if we can back paddle and try to get that money back. I forgot the name of what it's, the E-rate. Yes. Okay, yeah, I saw that. And I want to know, who was responsible for that? For us to be losing money, and as bad as we need money, we don't need mistakes like that to happen. I also have concerns, let me see. I have concerns about the way at the board meeting when you all were doing the selection for the superintendent firm search, trying to see what firm you were going to go with. I am very appalled by Mr. Teray and how he treated one of the firms. The let me see, I left my notes back there. But the firm there was a Caucasian male and an African-American woman. And to me, I felt Mr. Teray was very inappropriate with her and very disrespectful. As a Black woman myself, I felt very hurt and very appalled by the way you were questioning her. You actually asked her, did she have a personal relationship with Mr. Cunningham? And then you tried to clean it up and say a personal professional relationship, but the damage is already done. Your line of questioning was very inappropriate to me, to her. When someone else said that they were, I don't know who it was, if it was Janine or someone, but one of the other firms said they met one of the young ladies, one of the lady board members at one of the conventions, workshops. You didn't question whether or not he had a personal relationship with her. I wonder why. You know, to me, your line of questioning to her, it was like you really didn't want to see an African-American woman with that much. She had a lot going on for herself. She had a great credentials. And I don't know if you were threatened by that or you just didn't like the fact that she had all that, the education and positions behind her.
Ms. Hudson, that's 5 minutes.
Okay. I just want to know, you know, when will my questions be addressed? Do I need to send certified mail, you know, or what? Thank you.
Ms. Hudson, can you send me an email listing all your concerns and I will respond to it with Dr. Clark rather than trying to keep notes, everything. Can you just email me a list? Because you probably have more than this. Is that correct? Because your time limit was up?
Yeah.
Would that be acceptable to you if you send me a bullet point list and I can sit with Dr. Clark and we can go over them?
Yes, I could do that.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Then we'll
Thank
get
you.
back to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I guess the bigger question is, and this is directed more so to Dr. Clark, are we gathering collecting these questions and in a timely fashion,
supposed to be
answering and
responded
posting
to.
these questions?
Okay, I haven't received not one from anybody. Okay, if you ask me to put my email or address on the form and you will send them to me, I've been checking my email, I've been checking my mail, I have nothing from the board.
And that was another question. If the form of communication is given on the form, are we just generalizing the answers and the questions and putting those answers and
website,
questions on the
right.
website and not getting back to the method that the person that shared their public comment with the board as to communicate them via whatever method is stated on their form? So are we doing that, or have we laxed that? Do we understand the process here?
She's already talked to her. She gave her her
Oh,
card.
thank you. Everything is responded to and posted as we do all public comments. Now, if this is something that is different, then that is news to me. So I can go back and review and make sure that the responses are getting where they need to be. But to my knowledge, everything has been responded to, and if it was a question, and it should be posted.
Again,
Yes, it has to, yeah.
it sounds like, for example, are you getting the forms? Do you actually get the forms or no?
I don't actually get the
Or you
forms
do
now.
not?
The questions are emailed to all of us and we respond respectively.
And then who puts it on the website?
Terry will then post all of our responses.
And we are not directly responding to the sender? Questioner?
If there's a specific question, how is that being handled?
Are we responding if they put an email on there?
I have not been told to respond directly to the sender.
So you're
Okay.
just putting it on the website.
That is correct.
Okay, can we
So
have
why
this
is-
on a? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Hudson.
So if you're not directing your responses to us when we have a question, whether it be me or whoever in the audience, what's the point of putting our email or our address on there?
I agree. We need to make sure that we're getting back. And I assumed that this was happening, and that's my fault for assuming that. So we need to make sure that we're doing that, and then we can make sure that we have this discussion at our committee, the whole meeting, so that we can make sure that this is happening.
That's fine. I'm just following the process that's been set.
And is there a timeline? How long?
I thought we gave 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
14 business
14
days.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So I would appreciate not just Mrs. Hudson, but whoever, if we can go back, do we keep those forms?
Yes.
They are somewhere readily available to look at? We keep those forms? So
Yes.
we need to make sure that, I don't know how far we want to go back, but at least, I don't know, I would go back and respond to those people who gave communication, methods of communicating back to them, email address, phone numbers, or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's hard because on those, a lot of times there isn't a question stated on the form. It's just a very simple topic. So
Right.
if they ask a question, we have to go back to those, and we can discuss it Tuesday at our February committee of the whole meeting.
Understood. Mhm.
Thank you. Board updates. Any board updates?
I just wanted to mention that yesterday, the Warrior Guard, who's a group that's led by Renee Stuyvesant, they performed before the Bulls game yesterday, and I was able to go see them, and I was very proud of what they did. I always think it's great when the kids can go off-site and have some new opportunities and experiences and exposure. I thought it was a great way to celebrate Dr. King's birthday and legacy. The Bulls did a lot of really neat things in his honor. And so I enjoyed being invited. I enjoyed the day, and I'm very proud of the Warrior Guard and Ms. Stuyvesant for doing that.
Can we please find out if somebody taped or took pictures or something and get it on the website? I don't know who would be responsible for that, but I think that that would be a great thing to get out there for our public to see also, because I don't think very many people got to attend the game.
Whoever the webmasters are for the individual school would have those photos.
So would it be the high school then?
If that's who was part of
Right,
it, that,
That's the color guard.
So-
photographer with her. She had a photographer with her.
so they would have those photos.
All right,
So
so
connect it onto the district or just onto could they just post on the high school?
They can, every school can post to their individual pages, and once we see it, we can pull from their pages.
all right, so is it possible to make sure that somebody contacts the high school and moves that along, please?
I
See
can
if they
get in
even-
contact with them and remind them that they
Thank
should be
you.
getting that information out there.
Thank you.
Okay, I just have a quick, I guess, question and a comment. Going back to September the 19th, 2017 board meeting, we had someone file a Freedom of Information Act violation on us. And I went back to review the video of the meeting. And that's the meeting I left early. I believe Dr. Hall left early as well. And I'm asking the board members here, did we come out of closed session here in open session? Right. The tape doesn't show, and that's a concern with me too, because how far in a meeting do we allow the video to keep going? Do we shut the video off when we are in closed session for a long time? A couple times I came out here, everyone was gone. You know, some of our closed sessions could last a long time. So I don't know if we want to firm up that process to say, you know what, video needs to go on until, if we hear 4 o'clock in the morning, so be it. So I don't know.
We go all the way till we adjourn, don't we?
I went back on the 19th. When I saw that violation came in, I went back on the 19th. There was no video. It was.
Isn't the tape supposed to go until we adjourn?
Could you come up, could you come up to the mic, please? We like to know that. So there's.
Good evening. So usually if we're recording like a live video feed, we'll have a pause when we go to closed session stating that, you know, we're in a closed session, we'll be right back. And once we return from that closed session, we resume the actual video. We had a discussion about this a couple of years ago when we made the decision that all the board meetings were supposed to be from commencement to adjournment. So basically, once the board meeting was commenced, we started the video. Once it was adjourned, that's when we actually stopped the actual tapes. So
What happened to the rest of that tape then?
to the rest of, it's usually those, if there's not any minutes that are actually being recorded for an actual video, it's usually edited. And during those closed sessions, if it's not anything that's actually a part of the actual board meeting minutes, it's edited and it's not a part of the actual video.
Okay.
So we're not going to capture, if we go into closed session and basically all we have to talk about in open session is to come out of open session, closed session, in open session, in a motion to adjourn. Do we capture that in
We
open
still
session?
have to
We're
come
supposed to be
out.
capturing that.
If we come out of closed session.
If we're in the back in closed session and we're there for 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever.
Right.
Okay. When we come back out here,
Yes.
in open session,
Yes.
are we capturing that?
Yes, if we come back into, if we come back into open session and you have terminated your closed session and we're back into a regular board meeting, then we capture that video from that point on. But during closed sessions, that part of the actual board meeting is not, it's usually edited because there is no actual board
Sure.
minutes to actually capture.
Agree. Okay, well, I'll have to go back and review it on September the 19th.
Yeah.
Just one clarification
I'm
for
gonna look at
myself.
that too.
Okay,
We want to make sure that
that's all.
even if we only come out here to say,
Yeah.
motion to come back into open,
That's
and a
true.
motion to adjourn, that should be on the tape.
On September the 19th.
Yeah, once we come back into actual meeting, if the closed session is now back into an open session, that's when we actually start back recording. That's usually how we do it. And we do it from the commencement to adjournment.
Okay,
So-
can we make sure that September 19th one did do what it was supposed to
Sure,
do?
I can look at that. I can look at
Okay.
that date.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And you said, Mr. Lyle, Juan, you said at some point it was captured that the board had directed you, or was the superintendent directed your group or your
This is a
department?
conversation that had taken place during, this was like a while ago where we weren't capturing board actual minutes. And the agreement was, or the understanding was, is that when we do our videotaping, it's from the beginning when we actually start our board meetings
Okay.
until we close the session of those meetings.
Okay, it sounds like he say, she say stuff, but I think we need to capture it in
Well,
our
that's
board
what it should be.
policy
Yeah.
or our admin procedure.
Sure.
So everybody can be on one accord.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Anything else? I just have one. Some of you might have seen an article in the Southtown, I believe it was, regarding an investigation, or not investigation, a forensic audit of University Park's TIF funds. So two things. Number one, I asked Ken to make sure he has the most up-to-date numbers for all the TIFs to bring to our February Committee of the Whole meeting. And I also contacted Hauser Izzo to see what, if any, legal recourse we have if there is any issues with those TIF funds. So just putting that out there. Any other board updates? Oh, one more, sorry. Tuesday, is it Thursday, Natalie? Thursday, Jesse White tumblers? Last Thursday. One of the students at Monee Elementary has raised $18,000 for St. Jude's. And his father got together with some people from the Markham VFW, and one of the managers for the Jesse White tumblers was there and found out. So to thank Thomas for his hard work, the Jesse White tumblers came and did 2 performances at Monee Elementary School on Thursday. So I was able to attend both of those, and it was great. I've seen the Jesse White tumblers before. It was really great. So just wanted to put that out there. So administrative updates. Dr. Clark, District Affairs.
Good evening. Tonight I will be updating or actually reporting on December's for your reports. December 001. I would like to know the number of students that are not proper legal residents of our district that this company has discovered. Timothy James is the person, I'm sorry, I need to go back, I apologize. Part of November and December's is on this report. So let me go back. November 001, part 2 of a particular FOIA. I would like to be provided with the documents pertaining to all monies received by Crete Monee School District and our athletic groups, teams, and programs from the Crete Monee Boosters from years 2012 to present. According to the Warrior Booster Club bylaws on the district website, an annual review of their books should be submitted to the district of office on November 1st of each year. Number 2, I am requesting the total amount paid to all Crete Monee staff that worked preparing for, during, and after the Crete Craft Fair in relation to the craft fair from 2012 to present. Number 3, I am requesting documentation of athletic budget line items per team from year 2012 to current. I'm not asking for salaries of the coaches. I would like to know exactly what money is spent in relation to each sport, in relation to Crete Monee School District, and how it is divided amongst the sports. This includes uniform and equipment purchase and amounts by Crete Monee School District. Requester Lindsay Ancrom. Response date was filled 12/23/17, 5 hours, 45 minutes to complete. November 003, I'm requesting copies of all emails written by Crete Monee School Board member Michael Teray to Dr. Nathaniel Cunningham, former superintendent, between the period of July 1, 2014 through September 30th, 2017, to include a copy of all emails from Dr. Cunningham to Mr. Teray within the same time period. This was also reported with December's in December's FOIA, but it was a continuation as the requester, James Young, requested an additional review. No additional information was found. The requester was given the option to narrow the search to assist in locating documents that is believed to be out there. December 001, I would like to know the number of students that are not proper legal residents of our district that this company has discovered. Timothy James is the requester. Excuse me. This was filled December 23rd. December 002, I'm writing to request an unedited video/audio of the Crete Monee School District 201U School Board meeting held Tuesday evening, December 19, 2017. Requester James Young. This was also filled December 23rd. December 003, I'm writing to request geographical areas and specific grade level categories of the 1,400 students that National Investigative Agency has reported to be their preliminary findings of suspect student violators of CMSD 201U residential boundaries. This information was announced during the school board meeting on Tuesday evening, December 29, 2017. Requester, James Young. This particular FOIA was filled December 28th, but there was not documentation pertaining to this request pertaining to geographical areas, and there was no findings to give to them. However, we were able to utilize the information that was provided and just give a percentage of what was given to us in that aspect. So I was able to give that information.
Dr. Clark, do we have a typo or did they make a mistake when they said December 29th, 2017 meeting? Because our meeting was December 19th, so is that a typo?
It's a typo. I
Okay,
apologize.
just wanted to make
Yes.
sure that.
Thank you for bringing
we
it to
were
my attention.
Maybe mind reading them, I'm sure. I thought if they sent that in, we assumed they meant the 19th, but I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention. December 004, I'm writing to request the total amount of taxpayer dollars expended by CMSD 201U regarding background checks performed on approximately 5,000 students as reported during the school board meeting on Tuesday evening, December 19, 2017. Please include all invoices received and bills submitted for payment. In addition, kindly include all other expenses incurred for residency checks performed and paid between the periods of October 2017 through December 19, 2017. James Young is the requester, field December 27. December 005, an Excel spreadsheet containing the following information for every teacher and staff member currently employed in Crete Monee School District 201U. Please organize in the following manner: campus, first, middle, and last name; position, grade, level for teachers; subject area taught for teachers; certified in areas of instruction for teachers; any state certifications such as LBS 1, LBS 2, EOL, etc.; home address, school email, personal phone number; gender, race, ethnicity, hire date, years of experience, current salary. Requester Alessandro Garcia. An extension was sent for this information. As a reminder, we do not send out any personal information on our employees, so we will only send information pertaining to the job. And this particular request usually comes about 3 times a year for the same information. And that completes my FOIA report.
Thank you. Business. E-rate information?
I do have that. Do you mind if I project this? The board can stay up here and
That's fine.
I'll just give me 1 second to set it up and then I'll go through it.
Sure.
There it is. There are 2 reports in the board packet. The first one is the full report. The one I'm going to go through is the financial information when it comes to the E-rate program and my findings as the board has asked me to take a look at this. I did give the full report at the committee of the whole meeting a week ago. So this is the financial part of it, but again, I can answer any questions as they come up. Let me start by saying there's a couple definitions just to let everybody know. One is concerning amount requested. Amount requested is the total amount that we submitted as a district to the E-rate program for reimbursement. Then there's the amount committed, which is the amount that's approved by the E-rate program that we may get back. And the amount dispersed is what we actually have filed for and have gotten back out of the amount committed. Okay. The chart that you'll see here is a chart that I put together of the last 10 years of the E-rate program. And it shows the amount requested which is the blue bar, the amount committed, which is the yellow or gold, and the amount dispersed, which is the green. One of the things that you do want to do is try and get the gold bar and the green bar equal, so that the amount that they've committed to us is equal to the amount that we got in. because there are some things that we have to do to get that money once it's committed, like submit invoices that we've done some projects and that. So you'll see down at the bottom, I put some conclusions in, and so let me go through those with you. And so evidence shows that out of the 10 years presented, in 2 funding years, 11, 12, 12, 13, the amount committed to the district and the amount distributed to the district were equal, which is really what you want. In these years, the district was able to capture all of the funding that was committed to them. In another year, 13, 14, the difference was approximately $11,000, which again is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. In the other years, the amount distributed to the district was below the amount that was committed to the district. And I'm not able to conclude what the reasons were for this. So I'm not able to decipher why this was and that, but there is a difference. However, what I am able to conclude was that discontinuing the use of consultants as of July 1, 2015 shows a difference of $278,000, a little bit over that, in the amount of funds committed to the district and dispersed to the district for the 14-15 and 15-16 funding years. I'm not able to give a reason why these funds were not dispersed to the district. So while these funds were received by the district in 15-16, so there were some funds that were received. I had said previously that they were not, but there were. And the way we were able to find these, I talked to the auditor, they were posted into the wrong accounts on our ledger. They were posted into a 4999 account, which is kind of a miscellaneous account. The Illinois accounting manual says specifically that those should be posted into the 1951. So we were able to find some funds that did come in 15-16 and 16-17. So based on all of this, and I have a chart here that I'm going to go through, on November 21, 2017, I entered into an agreement with E-Rate Online to act as a district's consultant and provide any and all services in order for the district to receive all funds due. The cost of these services is $6,000 for the 17-18 fiscal year and $6,000 for the 18-19 fiscal year. As of the date of this report, the following information will give you a status update on the receipt of funds committed to the district. So I'm going to go through this pretty much in detail. So for the 14-15 funding year, which was to be received in 15-16, you'll see that the district did not receive $76,189. I don't know the reason for this. I don't know why. I can't find evidence to say why. But I do know that this amount is not able to be received by the district because the deadline has passed for submittal of expenditure invoices. So in essence, that money has been lost. For the 15-16 funding to be received in 16-17, the total amount that has not been received by the district is $202,408. Of that, $52,396, the deadline has passed for the submittal of expenditure invoices. However, I have filed an appeal and am waiting on a decision by the FCC to get those funds. So I don't know that yet. $150,012, the appropriate invoices and paperwork were filed with the FCC, and confirmation has been received by the district that these funds are being dispersed to the district. So we will be getting these funds in.
So far up to this point, it looks like we're not going to get about 129,000, possibly maybe the 52,000, but definitely not the 76,000.
Definitely not the 76,000. I know for sure we will not be able to get. The 52,000 is under appeal.
And you just stated the 150,000, that's pretty much money in the bank.
Yes, it is. We received confirmation. We received confirmation from the FCC that that money will be dispersed to us.
Is that a written confirmation?
That is, yes, that is actually that I have reports that I received from E-Rate that is directly out of the FCC system that shows that those monies have been committed to us.
Did you share that document with the board?
I have not shared those individual reports. I have them all the way back to 1998. I can share those though. That's not a problem.
No, I'm not looking for the 1998.
No, I know that.
I'm looking for this 2015, 16 that you state right here in the status and update, the 150,000.
I have that. Yes,
Can
I
you
can,
share
and I
that
can
with
share
the
that
board
with the
at the
board. I can share
committee as a
that.
whole or FYI in
I
some
can put
manner?
that in the next FYI. Yes.
Okay. And the 52,396.
Yes.
Did they give you a deadline or you appeal? That's an appeal, right?
That
That's
is
an
under appeal, yes.
And you have any time frame?
They really do
FCC
not
gonna-
give us a deadline at all. That is up to them on when they respond to that. So once they respond to that and give us a decision, if it's a negative decision, we do also have another opportunity to talk to them. So I will do that. If they deny it, if they accept our appeal, then they'll tell us that those funds will be dispersed to us. But there is no time frame on that at all.
Thank you.
Sure.
I have a couple of questions, Ken. Clarification. And I think it may help Mrs. Hudson because she asked a question about this money. This function is a function of the business office, correct?
Yes.
Okay, when this happened, who was the business manager?
I believe it was Dr. Williams, Dr. Ann
Okay.
Williams.
And who was Dr. Williams reporting to, do you know?
The superintendent, Dr. Cunningham.
But I think that may clarify the responsibility here. The buck stops at the top, so. Just
there have
wanna
been
clarify
some.
Who was in charge at that time and.
Sure.
And who was the board president at that time?
I believe Dr.
Oh, my
Hall.
God.
But
Thank you. I just want to clarify that.
That was not clarification. Again, could you move forward? Because there's
I
some
can.
questions.
I will do that. For the 16-17 funding that should be received in 17-18, there is $697,318 that is out there. Of that, you'll see 194,070, where we have submitted the proper invoices and paperwork with the FCC, so we should be getting that. 169,622, the proper invoices and paperwork have been gathered. We've submitted that to our consultant and begun the process of applying for reimbursement. And 333,622, we're in the process of gathering that paperwork. Most of that, as you'll see here, is our Comcast bills. So we're in the process of gathering all of that and giving that to our consultant.
And that is on time, correct?
That is all on time, yes.
They give you a window that you have to file this in, is that correct? I don't
They
think.
give you a window, but it varies with every project that you do. So that window moves all over the place and that.
So that's the purpose behind having a consultant also, correct?
To
Is they
follow that
watch
stuff for you.
Is
And
that
that's what,
correct?
yes, exactly. And that's what our consultant does for us.
Okay.
Yes, follows all of those timeframes.
Thank you.
So the totals there, what you'll see is there's $975,915, which are the total of those other amounts. And you'll see there that what I am saying is that I'm confident that the district will receive the following during the 17-18 fiscal year. Those totals are $817,938. An additional $52,000 is under appeal. And we're in the process of analyzing another $29,000 to see if there's appropriate paperwork. And in essence, when you total all that up, the thing that is missing is the $76,000 that I said we would not get. Now, what I will also share, and I'm fumbling here through notes, so give me 1 second here, is that since I did this report on December 31st, I shared with the board at the committee of the whole meeting that we had already received $314,434. We have gotten that in of that $800,000. On the 8th and 9th, we received another approximately $39,000. So now we are up to $354,856 that we've received out of this $800,000. So we continue to monitor that. The money will still continue to be coming in. I know our accounts receivable person in my office is on alert that as soon as you see something coming in, let me know so I can report that to the board. So we're monitoring that. The 300 is in the bank, yes. That's all been received in the bank so far. And then, as Mr. Brown had asked about those reports, so those reports will show that the money has been committed to us. And whether it's a process of us getting some invoices together, whatever, some we have and some we haven't, but that money's been committed and we'll get that this fiscal year.
Would it be a reasonable thing to say that for the lack of a consultant for approximately $6,000 a year, we lost this $76,000 and created this problem of
I mean,
not
I
being
don't
on
know.
time with this.
I don't know if I can say that. And here's what I will say, because I don't know what Dr. Williams' knowledge of the E-rate program is. I will say to the board that my knowledge is very limited on that. And I think it's in the best interest of the board when we talk about these type of dollars that we have a consultant do that. And not a consultant that charges a lot. And even the past consultant really didn't charge you a lot. I looked at their numbers, only about $11,000 a year. But again, if that's a decision that's made, that's fine. I think it's in our best interest to have a consultant because of the complexity of the program, my limited knowledge of that, and it keeps us monitoring that very closely.
And let's, just for the audience's sake, this is a federal program, correct?
Yes.
And it has federal rules and regulations.
Very much so.
Which are horrible. And, you know, from all of our knowledge of anybody that's ever dealt with the federal government, and I worked for them for 43 years, the regulations are extremely difficult to decipher and make sure you follow every little segment of it and dot every I and cross every T. So
right.
I would highly encourage this board to continue with a consultant long after I'm gone and the rest of us are gone.
Sure.
So that for $6,000, we can reap close to $1 million a year. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So-
Well, and please know, I don't know if we'll get $1 million a year. I will share that.
Well, whatever it is,
Yeah,
several
because there
hundred
are
thousand.
certain regulations about what you can apply for and what services you
Right.
can. I do know that in our Comcast bill is about 80% reimbursable. So that bill totals, our total bill on that is about $360,000 a year. So we could get back about $300,000 a year. So I think that's a good thing for us.
Yeah, I'm all about efficiency, as
Yes.
long as we're not losing out on things
I
because of our
agree.
efficiencies.
Right.
So,
Just one other question. To your knowledge, you said you wasn't sure how some gaps were in play in your investigation, your audit, or whatever method you conducted this process here. There were some gaps, but you're not sure where those gaps or what was needed to fill those gaps. And I can tell you from my knowledge, Dr. Williams is very knowledgeable on E-rate. And the process is relative. It depends. And you just pretty much admitted that you didn't have the expertise.
Sure.
But to your knowledge, did Dr. Williams assign or delegate one of her subordinates to take on this task?
Here's what I can say. I know that has come up before, and that I have found in as part of my full report, you'll see I have found no evidence there was any written communication that took place between Dr. Williams and one of her subordinates to take over that program. And that, what I will tell you is this, though, that now in the future, I have communicated both verbally and in written form to our director of technology that on a day-to-day basis, they're to work with our consultant to develop the plans in order to get reimbursement. However, the ultimate responsibility for this program falls with me. I'm the one that, because of so what he does, what Juan does, is he works on a day-to-day basis with the consultant. I am, though, ultimately responsible. So if things don't get done, it's not him, it's going to be me. That's just the way I do it now. Now, again, as I said, I have found no written communication that took place, and even I talked to Mr. Neal about this too. We looked at job descriptions, we looked at all that stuff. We cannot find any written communication.
So you have not gathered any evidence that said
I
that
haven't.
someone had responsibility for this?
The only evidence that I have seen is that there were some minutes of a finance committee meeting. I looked at 2 minutes of the finance committee meetings, I forget the dates in that, where they said that they wanted to bring the consultant services in-house. That's what it said. That's what the minutes said.
Yes.
That's all I could find.
Okay, I'm in a position gathering some information. I'll share with our president, and then she can share
Sure.
it with you, and you can bring it back to the board, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, thank you. And just, I just, again, do not want to put the brakes on this investigation. because I think it's paramount that we, before we put closure on this, that we have everything on the table before we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you.
Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Get that done. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So moved.
I'll second it.
The consent agenda consists of A, District Number 1, regular meeting minutes of December 19, 2017. 2, special meeting minutes of January 9, 2018. 3, special meeting closed session minutes of January 9, 2018. 4, committee of the whole meeting minutes of January 9, 2018. 5, committee of the whole first closed session minutes of January 9, 2018. 6, committee of the whole second closed session minutes of January 9, 2018. 7, review closed session minutes of January 2017 through June 2017. 8, approve Press Plus Issue 96 Board Policies. B, business. Number 1, approve accounts payable. Number 2, approve payroll. And number 3, approve treasurer's report.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Roll call. We already made a motion. Mike and me.
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Present.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Teray? Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Motion carries. Action reports. Can I get a motion to approve the certified staff return from leave of absence, the educational support staff employment, educational support staff return from leave of absence, and the educational support staff resignation?
Moved.
Okay.
Okay, the personnel report reads as follows. For certified staff return from leave of absence, Christine Conlon, Daniel Dronzek, and Renee Taylor. Educational support staff employment, Sandra Godar, Dana Holman, Jeannie Heisman, Tracy Wagner. Educational staff return from leave of absence, Virginia Burrell. And educational support staff resignation, Marcel Fierce. And that is the conclusion of the personnel report.
Thank you. Any questions? Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Teray?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the adjustment of non-union salaries to 92.5% of the market-based salary retroactively for the 2017-2018 school year, while guaranteeing a minimum of 2.1% increase for all non-union employees hired prior to July 1st, 2017, and remaining employed at the time of the approval of the resolution?
Move.
I'll second it. Mr. Neal?
Yes, thank you. In February 2017, non-union employees received the first of what were 3 planned increases and intended to allow our district to become more competitive in the education marketplace. The second increase was planned for the 2017-2018 school year. All union employee groups have received their annual salary increases for the 2017-18 school year.
Competitive salaries commensurate with the level of responsibility required for each position, the educational requirements for each position, and the quality and quantity of work expected for each position serve the dual purpose of helping to attract and retain quality employees in our district. Such salaries help provide stability and high-quality services to the constituents of our school district by encouraging employees to provide their best effort, maintain and improve upon their skills and abilities, and remain employed with our district. Our teachers, stakeholders, and taxpayers deserve to have a stable and highly effective workforce providing service and serving to create an environment conducive to learning in a world-class education system. Regular adjustments to ensure salaries of non-union employees are competitive within the marketplace helps to attract high-quality applicants to our district. This item was discussed in 2 prior committee of the whole meetings, beginning on December 12, 2017. And based upon those conversations, the administration recommends approval of the motion.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
I have a couple of questions. I wasn't clear on when you guys did the comparison chart. Did we compare districts in Will County to our Will County district, or did we compare rates in districts in Cook County?
There were districts in Will County, districts in South Cook in our geographic area with whom we have to compete. And there were also other unit districts included in the Chicagoland area, primarily south of a line from I-55 to match up with what the marketplace would demand in our geographic area.
How many of these, do you have any idea what the percentage was of Cook versus Will?
I don't have a percentage on that. There were, in the survey from our human resources consultant we used, there was approximately 140 school districts included in that. And the survey we were using, in addition, had approximately 40 school districts. So there may have been some overlap between the 2 surveys, but I don't have the percentage of Cook versus Will or any other county.
We're talking about 180 districts?
Roughly, yes.
Roughly? Okay. All right. Thank you.
Did you say 40?
40.
Mike, are you done? Yes. Okay. I have a couple of questions. One, you identified in your proposal that the approximate increase in expenditure of $485,000 to be offset by $600,000 a year in additional revenues that have been identified. $250,000 of that is additional ongoing revenues from E-rate, as described by Mr. Surma, and then another $350,000 increase in property tax revenue due to the dissolution of Monee TIF number 2. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a couple of things too that, let me, if I can pass this report around.
Maybe while you're passing that around, maybe
Go ahead.
I'll answer this question, but my other question is, how will this impact the fiscal year 2017, 2018 projected deficit?
And that's what you'll see on this report. So one of the things that I did, you'll see, and I'll just wait till, okay, show has it. So the top half of this report is the adjusted budget that I presented to the board and shared with them that I believe that there's going to be a deficit of a little over $2 million at year end. The bottom part, you'll see some additional revenues that have come in that were unbudgeted. So we have the E-rate funding. I'm projecting about $750,000 because, and you'll see by the little blue box there, I've explained that. I budgeted $50,000, but there's an additional, so there'll be additional $750,000, a little bit conservative because the total is $817. I just rounded some numbers. On property taxes, I show that I believe there's going to be an additional $400,000 this year, and that is just based on the estimated tax rate, the EAV of the Monee TIF number 2, the EAV that rolled off of that, brings us to a total of $918,000. Half of that is $459,000. I'm conservative in putting in $400,000. And then you'll also see state and federal grants from fiscal year 2017. If you remember, I shared with the board, These are grant dollars that we got in. We were supposed to get last year, didn't get last year. They were past the August 31st deadline that I can accrue things back. So this is money that we will have in this fiscal year of $2.5 million. In fact, I was sharing this with Cabinet today. Some of this money we actually did not get in until December 27th of 17. That's how late we got it. But that'll give you what that number is. So if you take all of these numbers, you'll see the estimated deficit becomes a surplus of 1.6 million. You take off the salaries and benefits at 484, it gives us a bottom line of $1.1 million. Now, I caution because this does show that we get all of our state and federal funding, okay? I don't know. That's the wild card in this whole thing. That's the craps game that we play with the state. So what I will share with you is the money that you see up here, the $2.5 million, is all categorical money. That means that they have to get that to us. When they get it to us is another thing, but they have to get it to us. And that. So, and you'll see in the navy blue box that I shared with you, we get, besides that 2.5 million, we get another 20.4 million in state and federal grants that we got last year, we'll get this year, and that. So, Mr. Albach, I hope this answers your question. I hope that helps. And if that's the information you were looking for.
It does. And what it tells me is that, on a cash basis, we'll close our budget gap for this year.
I think so, yes.
Or it would appear that we could, and along with paying these salaries retroactively to July 1st.
Right.
I think the issue will be as we get towards the budget for the following fiscal year and you produce a longer range plan, that we can't rest on our laurels with some of this cash that's coming in, because we're still going to be in a structural deficit position.
Right, and I agree. So what I'm doing right now is, as I shared with the board last week, I'm developing the budgets. I'm actually developing 2 years of budgets at the same time. So we start developing that long range plan, that 5-year plan that we have that. So I'm doing that at the same time. That I think will help us, at least short term wise, and then we'll start projecting that out longer then too. As I develop those, I'm putting in there to see if I can fit in the salaries at 100%, as I shared. So I'm working with those numbers so we don't have to retro pay and all that stuff. So I want to see how that's played out, how that plays out. I'm starting budget meetings next week already to do that. So you should have a temporary budget probably I would say by March, you're going to have a temporary budget, and then probably an additional 2 years. So you'll have 18, 19, 19, 20.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? You bet.
I was probably the only one here, I believe, on this board right now, with the exception of Dr. Hall, that voted to bring our non-union employees up to 86. And I said at that time, I think we probably was looking to expend about $400,000 at that point, compound year over year. And I said at that time, I said there was no guarantee that we was going to find ourselves in position to have the increase of 92.5 and 100%. And last December, I voted not to pass the tax levy, which was 2.1% CPI. Take that into consideration, taking also into consideration the new tax code, where many homeowners are going to feel the pain of that new tax code. Again, you kind of brought out a little bit of the conversation in this conversation with Board Member Albrecht, regarding a balanced budget. I have not seen a plan for a balanced budget as of yet. I'm all in favor on bringing our employees up to market value. All I'm saying at this point, I feel we're not in a position to invoke on another, 5.5%, 6%, thereabout at this point. That's my feeling. Excuse me, one more thing. Somehow this came out of committee and made it to our regular board meeting. So it must have been a consensus. I was not at our committee as a whole meeting. So it must have been a consensus to bring it to us at the regular board meeting. So if it's something that those who voted against bringing our employees, non-union employees up to 90 or 86% almost a year ago, what's the change? What is it that you saw fit to now go to 92.5? I mean, that's your prerogative to vote.
Just to be
as you
very
see
clear, there
fit.
was no vote in a committee meeting.
No, I'm just saying, I said it was a consensus to bring it to the board for a vote. Is that correct? Was it a consensus?
That's been the plan since the initial.
Sure. So it was a
last
consensus.
December.
Well, actually, I think if there wasn't, didn't need it because it was, we approved the 86, then they would.
This
come
is
with the
part of the plan.
92.5.
I mean, but we could have stopped it and say, don't bring it to the board tonight.
That was
That
not
the
discussed,
board.
but yes, we
Right,
could have.
Right, so it was we say, let's bring it to the board, and here we are.
Okay, I think part of the issue, and I was one of those who was very unhappy with the 86, and I also said about the 92.5. Unfortunately, after talking to Lyle and many people who have left the employee here, we were way off, and they were just jumping ship, and we were losing a lot of good employees that needed that money to subsist because the cost of living has gone up, because the tax thing. So I happen to know quite a few employees who have left. Lyle and I have had a couple of conversations. It's not that they don't like their job, they don't like the district, but when you can make $15,000 or $20,000 more somewhere else for the same job, and it's 5 minutes further in transportation, they're going to take it. And it's a huge bite to take, but I want to retain these employees. We have excellent employees, and we're losing excellent employees because another district, or it doesn't even have to be a district, another company has enticed them with either more benefits, more pay, both of them. And when I saw how far off we were and we're still losing people, it made me change my mind.
It's
So
not
if-
just retaining them, it's attracting them as
That's,
well.
ask if that's answering what you were looking for. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If we can't retain them, how do we attract them? And we're not going to attract them with the current salaries that we have. And these are key, many of them are key administrative positions. So.
I'm concerned about the disparity here on some of these positions, these IT specialists and the maintenance people. The schools are extremely dependent upon IT and IT working properly. And, it's in every classroom. They got the whiteboards. They're constantly on the Chromebooks and the computers. And it's an essential part of them being able to teach the curriculum. But we're offering an IT support technician here $38,000. I mean, to me, that's peanuts. You're going to get what you pay for. I don't, 38,000, you might get some young person right out of school or somebody that's just recently cross-trained into the field, but I don't think you're going to get the quality of help we would like to have offering that type of a salary. I think that's way out of line, and some of the maintenance salaries are the same way. I mean, you're offering $30-something thousand a year, and you want to keep the building running. You want to keep the air conditioning going, the heat going, the lights going, and I don't think enough thought was put into what you want out of these positions and what we're willing to pay for them. So I would rather pay a bigger salary for someone that's fully qualified that can jump on these systems, whether it be the IT end of it or the maintenance end of it, and also the custodial end of it. I think we're low on custodial pay, and hit the bricks running, as they say, and give us a bang for our buck, and not have schools waiting a week to get something repaired and teachers upset. We've all heard that. So I just don't like the way it was structured, and I think that needs to have a good look at. And if we're going to attract someone with the experience that we'd hope to get, I think we need to be competitive with the outside. So that's my comments on those three areas: custodial, maintenance, and IT. The administrative areas seem to be, from what I know about admin, they seem to be pretty competitive, but I don't know much. My background has always been a maintenance person, so I'll share that with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
May I
When was
make
the
one
study
quick comment
completed?
before
Yeah.
I do apologize for interrupting, but I do want to be clear, custodial is not included in non-union. They are in the Acme Union. So that's a whole separate issue. I just want to be clear, custodial is not
Yes.
included.
I was just going to say that. And this study is 2 years old now? 3 years old?
About close to 3, but yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Teray,
I'm going to vote no.
Mrs. Root,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Abstain.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo,
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the contract for Ronald Patton to serve as interim superintendent pending background investigation for a period not to exceed 100 days?
Moved.
second.
Discussion?
I personally believe that we ought to have a superintendent in the position running a district such as ours, as large as ours is, in some capacity. I know Dr. Clark, and I commend her for filling the shoes in the absence of a superintendent. And I wanted to continue to go down that road. I do know I want to actually call him a superintendent, Patton. Did I say that right? A lot of times I'll say Payton, but Patton. He definitely is a good choice if I had to pick a superintendent to lead us for the next couple of months. But again, I think it's not fiscal responsible to embark upon paying another person almost $1,000 a day. I think we put ourselves in a position to do that, and I just don't think it's prudent. So that's my take on it.
Thank you.
I would like to add something also. It's been a long time. Mr. Patton's in the audience, so I'm going to direct this at Mr. Patton. It's been a long time since our administrators have had evaluations. Our principals, our assistant principals, many of the deans. Somehow it slipped through the crack. It's been 2 or 3 years. They haven't had evaluations that we can find.
I don't believe that the assistant principals and deans fall into that category. Am I correct?
Correct. We're talking about the top tier administrators.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I would like to ask Mr. Patton to focus on getting to know these people and giving us a good assessment on what he feels their capabilities and how well they're performing, so that the person that takes over in the future, you can give a good, solid recommendation on what you think, where improvement is needed, where dismissal is needed, where they're doing an excellent job. I would appreciate very much personally if you would take this under your wing and take a look at where we're at and if we have the right leadership in the right places. Thank you.
No, I don't think it's necessary.
No, I know what you're going to say.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I just have one comment. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Patton for the first time at the committee the whole last week and was very pleased with how he responded to our questions, and some of them were very tough questions. I've also received very good recommendations from Mr. Patton from others, and I'm very supportive of hiring him on an interim basis. And I think this board has been too often penny wise and pound foolish, and I think this is a good expenditure of our funds, so, and something we need right now. So I'm supportive.
All right.
I think we're talking about a little bit more than pennies.
Dr. Clark and the rest of the assistant superintendents have done a fabulous job.
Yes.
However, they have their own individual jobs that they need to do, and we cannot let them get worn out and run down. So I believe that we need to have somebody in this position running the day-to-day operations of the district. And as well, I was able to meet Mr. Patton for the first time Tuesday and was very impressed. So we are in this situation. We need to move forward and get this district moving in a positive direction.
I agree. I was probably one of the only holdouts. I had a lot of concerns about bringing in an interim superintendent that had previous ties to the school district for a lot of reasons. And then I met Mr. Patton. And it was probably one of the nicest experiences I've ever had in interviewing somebody. And he totally changed my mind. We have to do what's right for the district. Our 4 assistants are doing one heck of a job, but it's the time of year when we have to make big decisions. They have a lot on their plates, and we need to make sure that we do the right thing for the district, our kids, our teachers, all of our employees. So after meeting Mr. Patton, he swayed me. I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay.
I'll jump on the bandwagon here and just say, I haven't known Mr. Patton personally, but I know a lot of people that know him personally, including my father who worked in Chicago Heights with him. We have a lot of history in Chicago Heights. I have no reservations hiring Mr. Patton for this position. I think he will help us meet our goals, set them first, then meet them, and help us move forward with what we're wanting to do this year.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
Mr. Touré?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Nay.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mrs. Gasparo?
Aye. Motion carries. Welcome, Mr. Patton. I did share with the board in an email yesterday that there will be a need regarding Mr. Patton going to close session so that we can set some goals. And I believe you've been in contact with HR, and we will move forward. I'll probably be in contact with you tomorrow. Okay, thank you. Did you have a statement that you'd like to make? You're more than welcome to.
You're here, serve the public, serve our kids. And if you don't love kids, then there's no place for you in our school district. Your schools are about relationships. Students don't care how much you know, they know how much you out there. The one principle that I want to establish in the district, love the kids. I mean, love them in the right way. We know that there are different definitions of love our kids in the right way. Reach out to our kids, be supportive of our kids, but have very high expectations. By the same token, with high expectations for the kids, come high expectations for our staff members. They're going to be expected to show respect to our kids, because if you don't respect to the kids, show respect to the police. So we have a lot of things to talk about, and going to hit the ground running. Things move in the right direction, not that they have to. But thank you for your confidence. Everything that I'm doing, everything I can do.
Thank you and
Thank you.
welcome. Old business?
I don't know if it pertains to everybody, but I just wanted to say that Ken made a promise after we decided on our insurance. When did we do that? April, when did we do our insurance? Yesterday, whatever. The district insurance, I'm on the insurance committee. Whenever that was, Ken made a promise that we would start first of the year. And we're starting the first of the year. We're meeting next week to get our insurance in line so that come May, we're ready to start it to align with the school year. Is that correct?
Yes, so May will have another open enrollment period so that our plan year and premium year will all start September 1. Yes. No more confusion. Yes.
I have one item. Did we get our HVAC guy? Did he turned the offer down? So we're starting from scratch again now?
They
At the
countered
square-
the offer with not only a greater salary, but also an administrative title. So he was getting a position above the one he was going to get with
Above
us.
what we
Yes,
were offering.
they really wanted to keep him. That's why he was in demand.
Darn. Okay. Look hard, please. Thank you.
Anything else? New business?
I again have one item, and this will make Mr. Brown happy. While we were at Triple I, and you always ask for a little happiness out of Triple I, when we were in the exhibit hall, we stopped by and saw Healy Bender, who is our architect of record, and they immediately handed us a form for a grant, for us to apply for an art grant. And so Laura, can you take it from here, please?
We received the paperwork for the application, and I sent it on to Linda Johnson, who's our art teacher at the middle school. And she completed the application prior to winter break and received notification late last week that she had received the grant. And she will be doing a glass making project with the students, and the grant will go to pay for all the materials.
I love that free money. That's good. That did bring a smile to me. I haven't smiled like this in a long time. That was good. Thank you.
Mrs. Gasparro, just one other thing too on pertaining to money too. I mentioned this at the committee of the whole meeting, where Pam Panza was able to get another grant from Amazon also for $7,500 to get another freezer. So she was able to do that. So kudos to her, and we're glad of that.
Yes, that's
Yep.
great. So
And then-
how many freezers does that make now that we've?
She's gotten 3. So That's great and good for her. My other thing I do want to mention is I became a grandfather over the weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
So just to let y'all know
First-time
that,
grandfather.
first time. So Madison is doing well, and
I thought you said a
if the public
daddy.
didn't see, there was a little slide going.
Oh, no, where is it?
The good news is she doesn't resemble me at all, so that's good news.
It's your first one?
She's my first grandchild, yes. First grandchild.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm really young, I really am.
I'm not going to comment on that.
But anyway, thank you very much. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, at this time, we do have a need to go into a closed session. Can I get a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body?
Moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Albrecht,
Aye.
Mr. Brown,
Hi.
Dr. Hall.
Good evening.
Aye. Mrs. Ruth,
Aye.
Mr. Teray,
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye, Mrs. Gasparo.
Aye. Okay, we will go into closed. I don't expect to be gone longer than 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and we will have no other actions.